Uhlmann reporting for KD Chats, here with actor, writer, producer CHRIS GIBBS. What inspired you to become an actor?
I don't know. See, I had a really weird path to being where I am. I started as a street performer. Mm-hmm. So sort of in the terms of actor, the way other people see it, that was more, oh, that would be nice to not be a street performer anymore.
What are some of the challenges of being a street performer?
It's completely uncontrolled. So the challenges also make it one of the most interesting things, where anything can happen and you have to deal with it. And that can be a really fun thing, but it can be, if your livelihood is depending on it, that can be quite horrible too. I've obviously never done this, but I remember there was a guy who used to punch hecklers. And you would come on and ready to do your show, and you'd be like, something just happened here. And it's because to them, they're like, I'm being really funny, I'm heckling. But to him, you're doing this, and I will not be able to pay my mortgage. So his ability to deal with it in a playful level was obviously he had other issues too. The fact that he was hitting anyone, but
that wasn't you, was it?
No, I haven't. I have encouraged a heckler to punch me in a show, but I've never been punched. I've tried to incorporate it and so on. But the challenges are just, it's unpredictable. So the challenges are exactly the same as everything, as what makes it worthwhile.
And since your days as a street performer, you've been known to act, write, and produce your one-man shows. What are the challenges of that?
Well, it's weird. Like, apart from anything, the challenges are people moving drywall. And that's a big sheet of drywall. You can't see it, obviously, and no one else can see. No one knows. I probably didn't need to mention the big sheet of drywall, except that it's there. And so the challenges of a one-person show are you're constantly dealing with that voice in your head that says no one cares about your life. Fortunately, most of my shows aren't about my life. So the one that I've written about, like when my son was, I don't make the kind of choices that lead to an interesting show. Except for having a child, and then that was like, what? And so suddenly I have a very personal show about that. The rest of mine are just sort of silly comedy shows. So the pressure is that it's just you, so there's no pressure. So what happens is, for me anyway, is you leave it until the week before, and then you write a show, and then there's a lot of pressure.
How do you come up with the content?
It's been different ways and different shows. Like I've got about sort of 5 or 6 shows now, and a couple of them are stand-up shows, and so they're constantly fed by new things. And that's just, life happens to you, or you see something and you go, oh, I wish that would happen. And then you go, well, I'll tell the story and it did happen the way I said. And you're just lying to people. Other kind of shows, like other shows I've had, there's a couple of mine which are about a Victorian detective. And that was just, I always enjoyed, Sherlock Holmes has a lot of information that nobody else has, so he could be lying. So I just wrote the show as if he was lying. So he's got this very gullible assistant, and he's just lying to him. So that was kind of just one silly sort of idea that sort of led to other things. And most recently, like the show that I have about my son being born was obviously when he was first born, I placed him on my chest, and he started trying to feed. And I remember sort of at the same time of having this, I don't know what to do now. I think, do I let him? Do I not? I think he could get some comfort, but obviously it's a really weird thing to do, and I'd have never asked anyone about this, because how did I know that my son would do this in his first minutes of being born? And I think in the back of my mind, I was like, but this will probably go in a show someday, and it's sort of a big part of the show about him.
And right now you're working on the soaps.
Yeah.
What's at the heart of that story?
Well, there's no story. It's an improvised soap opera. It's a bunch of very, very good improvisers, and they let me be in the show too. And it's really sort of, it's set around 1812 because it's 2012. And really, what you try and do in an improvised soap is you build things up, and then you just destroy it whenever you want. I'm having a lot of fun. I'm playing a coward, a British guy who actually came to Canada because there was an important war going on in Europe, and he came to Canada to get away from it, and obviously has failed and is now a coward. And what I found is, he can get braver and then just destroy it. You can appear to be, because one of the things that's it's easy to get quite cheesy when you're doing a soap. and to be a coward and then go, now I'm brave, and then you've got other things to do, but it's really fun to be able to go, no, I'm not, which I feel is a more realistic approach to cowardice, is you'd almost not be a coward and then you'd be a coward again.
And where is the best place to find out more information on the soaps and on your other projects online?
Well, the soaps would be thesoaps.ca, one word.ca. And for me personally, I mean, it's chrisgibbs.ca is my website. chrisgibbs.com is also a British guy, but he lives in America. I think he's a photographer, and I'm pretty sure he gets a lot of my gigs.
Oh, that's too bad. Well, thank you so much,
Thank you very
Chris.
much.
Break a leg with the soaps and all of your upcoming projects.
Well, thank you very much, and you too.
Thank you. I'm Katie Uhlmann reporting for Katie Chats here at RAINDANCE Toronto.